All right, Mike Rogers, here we go. Yeah, I always feel like a pilot whenever I put these on. How are you today, sir?
I'm good.
We're finally doing this. Um, I
Been
think the
putting been putting it off.
I know. I think the plan was episode 50, right? Did you just throw out a number that you thought was far away?
I don't know. I don't remember. I just I have a tendency to talk too much and say so. I didn't want to say anything too stupid. So
Nothing.
listen to you guys a little bit and see how it goes. And
Yeah, you listen to me enough. I say enough stupid stuff all the time. I'm sure.
not too bad.
Not too bad. All right, sir. So, I'm so fascinated by your just background and like intro to fighting because you're almost like the godfather of like the of the area in MMA, right? So,
Well, I actually got into it because Steve Berger was my friend.
uh-huh.
He was my neighbor growing up, and he just was like, "Hey, you're going to do this."
Yeah.
It's like, so I wrestled in high school, college. I got it. See, it was I got him into wrestling.
Okay.
Um, he wasn't much of didn't take to wrestling.
Really?
He wasn't the best wrestler. He wasn't a great athlete. So
That's
it's just he's a great fighter. He's a tough guy,
super
but
tough.
he wasn't a good athlete.
Yeah.
So I wrestled my whole life, and then he's like, hey, college is over. You're gonna come. We were best friends. I mean, like we were just
Since
that
you're
was
little
it. That was
kids.
my buddy.
You
We
from
were
South
together.
City, St. Louis or South County?
South County,
South County, St. Louis. Where'd you wrestle at in high school?
Oakville.
Oakville?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They still have a pretty good
I
wrestling
was
program out
no, they're
there.
terrible.
Are they?
They're so bad. They've been terrible for a long time. But at the time I was there, I was lucky. I coached. My coach is Rocky Streb, and he was one of the best coaches. Now
Yeah.
he's a AD at CBC. So
Okay.
and they won the last two state titles.
Yeah, they have a
So
sick team.
he's he's an unbelievable coach. So
Okay.
I learned a lot from him. In fact, I would say that everything that we do at SCMMA, like not everything, but when I put together practices in my head, or if it's basically from things that the way he did it,
Yeah.
not the way my college coaches did it, or not the way that any of my little league, whatever. It was basically off from him. He was
Right.
definitely.
Yeah. High school coaches can have such a big impact. I remember my high school wrestling coach, and like I still hear his voice in my
Yeah.
head all the time.
My he was brutal. He was brutal to me. He was a great technical coach, but he was brutal on my ego, man. He was
Really?
yeah. There's some video of him. I gotta put it up online someday. It's just like you suck. I don't know because he had something like this headphones like in the early 90s. 90 in 89 90
Uh-huh.
and he would have somebody videotape and it was connected to the giant camcorder up in the stands, and he'd be telling you what you were doing wrong
Yeah.
and what you were doing right.
During
But
practice or matches?
matches,
Okay.
and basically the whole time it was what you were doing wrong, pretty much. So it was you suck,
Zero.
Rogers. I can't believe you're doing. You suck. I can't believe. And then all of a sudden I pinned the guy. That was good. He definitely had. I mean, he definitely knew what he was. His critique was right.
Yeah.
He wasn't just saying. He wasn't just saying it to say it. He knew what he was talking about. He still
Right.
does. I'm sure
He just like focused on like the bad not
yeah.
necessarily like the good stuff.
You're slow. Just you walk like just all kinds of.
That's funny. I talk to myself like that all the time. Like, Adam, you gotta do more. You're slacking. You're not doing enough. Maybe that's just like I don't know, this weird thing that certain people have in their head. So he just verbalized it to you guys.
He was a great coach. He was. I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
I learned some things that I would never do to my fighters now.
Yeah.
I would never like be, but a lot of things. I mean, 90% of what I learned, what I got from him is just great. He was,
Right.
he's a good guy. He was a good guy. He drove us down to. He drove us places. He cared.
Yeah.
I had great coaches. I had great coaches all through. I had a great high school little league coach, a guy named Dwight Dickinson. His son is a wrestling coach at Kirkwood now. Then in high school, I had a great coach. In college, I had Larry Kristoff and Booker Bedford. Larry Kristoff was like a 20-time national wrestling
Oh
champion,
shit.
4-time Olympian. He made Dan Gable carry his bags.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's a
Well,
huge
well, I
deal.
think that he didn't really make him carry his bags. I think it was the year before Gable was on the Olympic team. He was an alternate, or
Yeah.
he was there, and they had to carry all the
Right.
the guys that were on the team shit, I guess. I don't
Right.
know.
Well,
I don't know the whole story, but
but
yeah,
still, just to be around that
yeah,
type of coach.
yeah. And Booker Bedford, he was unbelievable. My college coach, he was
So how many times did you place in high school?
just once.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a mental. I was. I think I wrestled. I was about. I mean, my junior year, I beat the 3A state champion. I beat the 4A state champion. I beat everybody. When I got to the state, I was nervous and I should
Oh,
crap my pants.
yeah.
Which that was my own. I wasn't a great athlete. But I could beat these. I could beat these guys, and I did beat them. I just didn't beat them at the right time.
Yeah. That happens. There was a guy that I wrestled in high school. His name was Zach Arnold. He's Jaden Cox's older
I
brother,
know.
actually.
I know him. I
You know
know him.
Zach?
He's a welder.
Yeah, he
Yep.
is a welder. Yeah, and he was just so good. And I think he placed as like a sophomore and a junior, but his senior year he got to state and just I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, his it might be his dad or his brother. Probably his brother, Phil Arnold. He wrestled at Mizzou. He
Yeah,
was a monster.
that whole family is just a bunch of monsters.
I guess I don't know him personally. I
Yeah.
just know of them. I know Zach because you introduced me to him. We brought him to the gym.
Yeah. Zach was at the gym.
Yeah.
Zach stopped by the gym whenever. Do you remember when we had that thing for Tyron at the very first gym when he signed for Strike Force? We had that big barbecue and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
And he was selling shirts.
Yeah.
Tyron was selling shirts to
Yeah.
make a little money.
Yeah. That was a big deal at the time because Strike Force was a huge show still.
The Strike Force was so much fun to
Yeah.
watch. I got I bucked up and paid for Showtime because of Strike Force.
Oh, really?
I think it was Gracie versus Shamrock.
Yep, I remember that.
That was great. I mean, didn't end up being the great fight that we hoped, but I mean, it
Yeah.
got me watching the show.
Yeah, it's better than what like Bellator is doing now, whenever they put all these washed up fighters
I don't know.
out there.
I don't know. I like that.
Do
I
you?
mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put. They're trying to get people to watch the show, and
Yeah,
it's good for us. They try to make it a show.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they have a boxing on one side or kickboxing on one side, MMA on the other side. They do a lot of. They try to make it fun.
they do
That's
try
what
to
they
make
try
it
to do.
fun. They
They
bring in names that people know.
Yeah, they try to make it fun, and they sign people that they think are going to be future. They're going to be good before they're good.
Yeah,
They do some of that. And,
that's pretty cool how they'll build up a fighter.
yeah, I'll never talk shit on Bellator.
I like
All my
Bellator.
people work for Bellator. They love
That's true.
Bellator.
I think
Even if I don't have anything bad to say about them, but if I did, I wouldn't say it.
that's fair. I think they're great. I have an issue with fighters taking fights after like way after their prime. Not even on belt, so that Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell fight.
Yeah,
Like, why is Chuck Liddell fighting? He has so much brain injury. Obviously,
yeah.
he needs the money.
I don't know. I don't know them at all.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. I stopped in 2004 before I made any money. So I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, maybe he just wanted to do it again.
That's true, man.
You get older, you want to be like, all right, I think I still got it. I want to get that one more shot. I want to get in the ring
Yeah.
I want to do it.
You ever feel like that?
When I think about it, I think, well, I'm not in very good shape. I don't think it'd be a good idea. Sometimes I think I should do IBJJF.
Yeah.
I should do some of those, and I think I probably will in the future. But, it's just a matter of putting down the cookies.
Yeah, man. Trying to just have that training camp and get into shape.
Well, I don't think you need in jiu-jitsu. I don't think you need a train. Everybody thinks you need a train. You don't, even for fighters. A lot of them, they don't need training camps. They train. That's what they do. They live it.
Yeah, they just train
So
all
what
the
do you
time.
need a training camp for? You could be like Kelly D'Angelo right now. I mean, I could tell. She's people know her. She's very good, 105-pound atom weight, and Invicta. She can't get anybody to take a fight with her, but she could be ready. I don't
Yeah.
know if she's mentally. Maybe you need that to get mentally ready, but she's physically ready right now.
Right. Yeah, she's always training.
Right, she's ready.
Yeah, if
A
you're
lot of people like that.
yeah, if you train all the time and you're able to stay healthy, I don't think you need a long training camp at all. I mean, it's just, like you said, it's just mental.
If it's like, hey, I
course.
need to get this training camp in so I can be ready to fight, and sometimes that training camp breaks you down and crushes you so bad that
Yeah.
you fight like crap anyway.
Yeah, man. People overtrain a lot. There's so much to do, though.
There's a lot to cover, man.
There is a
It's
lot
not
to
just
cover.
boxing or not just wrestling. It's not just, you got to do all of it. You got
Yeah.
to figure it all out,
Yeah, that was one of the great things that you always made us do as amateurs, right? You always made us do everything. We
Yeah.
had to do boxing. We had to do jiu-jitsu. We did MMA.
Well, as an amateur, I think it's there's no other way. You're forced to, like, you're forced to like take that punch.
Yeah.
You can't dive at his legs.
Right.
I remember when I boxed, I was like, oh, if I could just take this guy down and smash his face. He has no wrestling.
Just make
But
life so
yeah,
much
but
easier.
it forces you. You know, you have to do it. So if it's not just boxing, and you have to, and you get that adrenaline, it's different than taking a punch in practice. You know,
Oh yeah.
so you got the adrenaline of getting in the ring as an amateur, and you only have to think about one thing. You're thinking about punching the guy and not getting punched.
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking about just all the things you have to do to win. You know, and you can concentrate on that.
Right.
And then it becomes second nature, and then you can just move on to the next thing.
Right.
Of course, you're always going to have to keep doing it. Always have to practice it.
Right.
People get pissed off. Oh, you have to. Why am I doing this? I already know how to do this. Well, you have to do it because your body. You need to get that muscle memory. You need to keep doing it. You need to do it till you're. Shit, you can do it till you're 90. You know, at least, and then you still got the motor skills to do it.
Right.
People live to be 100. They do things. They're creatures of habit.
Right.
You know, they're going to drill. They
Yeah.
drill every day. Drill their footwork. Drill out whatever the hell they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're drilling it.
Yeah,
every day.
You lose your timing if you don't.
Right.
Ben Askren talks about that a lot because people ask him, well, why do you still wrestle so much? He's like, because that's what I'm really good at. Like, why would I take away from my wrestling to focus on some of these other things more?
Right. It doesn't mean you can't focus on those other things, but
Right.
why get work if you're that much better at something, you should probably, use it.
Yeah, still keep that sharp for sure.
You know, like Damian Maya, he should have. Someone in his camp decided to tell him he was a kickboxer, and he is a good kickboxer, but maybe the best jiu-jitsu player in the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, why not take the guy down and submit him?
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's thousands and thousands of fans that want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And it works.
right?
Yeah. That's what Kron Gracie just did.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's way behind the ball in striking, right?
Yeah.
So why is he's gonna become a striker in the UFC?
No.
No,
He's not.
He's gonna be what his family's been for what the great gift that their family gave to us. Jiu-jitsu. He's gonna carry that flag into the cage.
Right. Did you see that little there was a video that they put up. It was his fight and then right below it was like an old Gracie instructional video, and it was exactly the same thing. It was like that.
I didn't see that.
It was like a little kick at the leg, and
Right.
then dude went for a punch. He ducked it, went to that body lock, took him down. It was verbatim the exact same thing.
they
like
got
this
something to
super
prove.
old video.
They have something to prove. You
Yeah.
know that they're still the best martial arts.
Yeah.
That Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They're right. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the best. You can't. I don't care what anybody says. Being a wrestler my whole life, all this sort of thing. When you hear somebody say, "Oh, wrestling's the most important for MMA," okay, maybe for 3 5s, maybe wrestling, so that you can decide whether you're standing up or on the ground. But if you can only know one thing, it's jiu-jitsu, and you can be proven over and over and over in the 90s.
Yeah.
If you only knew kung fu, you're getting pummeled.
Yeah.
If you only knew wrestling, you're getting submitted.
Right.
Because you're equal on the feet.
Right.
If you know nothing on the feet and the jiu-jitsu guy knows nothing on the feet, the wrestler's going to tackle you down, and then you're going to submit him.
Right.
If you can only know one thing, and let's say you know a bunch of stuff, you know how to strike, but you're losing. What's the most important thing? To survive?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's say it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're in an MMA fight or if you're on the street, what's the most important thing? To survive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, you don't survive. You're not going to survive giving your back up.
No.
If you don't know the guard, if you're not going to survive if you're, just laying there while the guy's mounted over the top of you, punching your face.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, essentially all fights, especially in this, like if you're just out in the streets, they all end up on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, it's less than it used to be, I think, because
Yeah.
people have learned how to wrestle and do striking. But the thing is, if you can only know one,
Yeah,
we're lucky we don't have to only know one.
that's true.
We can know everything.
But if you did have to know one,
If you only could train one thing, it would be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
yeah, 100%. I think is one of the most important skills, especially for like young girls growing up.
Yeah,
Just learn how to protect yourself.
I mean, my daughter, she's decided she's not going to do this. She's not going to do wrestling. She's not going to do jiu-jitsu, but she's going to.
Yeah,
She's going to. My wife's on board. My wife's on board with it. She's like, "No, you're going to do it."
Yeah.
And that's a gift. Like I got. You can give your kids gifts, but I don't have a bunch of money to give my kids gifts with. I can give my kids a gift of jiu-jitsu that they can give to their kids. They can.
Yeah, that's
It's
priceless.
almost, yeah,
That's
priceless.
priceless. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
that's something that nobody can ever take away from
Right.
them, and
So,
that's something that could save their life.
and you're going to accept this gift, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, yes, you will. Yeah, man. I think it's been 2 years now that AJ and Addison have been doing jujitsu, and I know they haven't liked it the whole way. More AJ has more so than Addison, but just
They'll
as
be happy when they're 20.
100%.
They'll be happy.
Yeah, 100%. So when did you start boxing? Because you started wrestling in kids club, right,
I
as a
think
young
I was
age?
like 26.
Okay.
I started jiu-jitsu when I was 24, so I graduated college,
Where'd you go to school?
SIUE,
Okay.
and after nationals, after the season ended, I went to. So that's when Steve Berger was like, "Hey, you need to." He looked up in the yellow pages because he was a huge fight fan. He would always be like, let's watch this Chuck Norris movie. Let's watch Rambo. He was like, that was him.
You're
And
just all
so I
about
was
it.
just kind of followed behind him, like, okay, well, I'm cool with that. I mean, I'm not as interested as you, but
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Let's watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's like, and we were hanging out every day, So he's like, all right, I started this jiu-jitsu club. I mean, at this jiu-jitsu club was Vaghi's,
Okay.
and
So
you know,
Burger found Vaghi.
Burger found Vaghi,
Okay.
and he drugged me over there. And I remember I went in there, and I was like, okay, I'm a pretty good wrestler, And I went in there humble. I didn't come in there like I'm gonna kick somebody's butt, or I just
Yeah.
went in, and I remember getting submitted by Rodrigo. Like I was nobody else submit me, But Rodrigo submit me like, I don't know. I can't tell you how many times, but I can tell you this: when I got done, I said, "Are you making this stuff up as you go? Like, are these moves that, like, how could I have wrestled my whole life and I don't know what the hell's going on here? You just straightened my arm out like 10 times. You choked me. Like, did you make this stuff up?" I
Yeah.
remember asking. I'm like just flabbergasted. He didn't know English very well. Buddy, come back tomorrow. he didn't know how to answer any questions from me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Where was he at? Where's his gym at this time?
He was in Baldwin in St. Louis, off of Manchester and 141, basically.
Okay. Because I thought maybe so. Did he have like an actual gym? I thought maybe I heard stories that it was in his basement.
No, I think before I met him, I think he was working with Jay D'Amato.
Okay.
Jay D'Amato had started CMMA,
Oh yeah.
or he was CM. I think he was CMA. I don't know,
I don't know. Too
but that was
many.
before me.
Oh. Okay.
That was before me, which would have been like a year before me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Because he moved here in '96, so I started in '97.
Okay. Is so he started? Okay. I thought Rodrigo started in '97. So he started training as soon as he got here.
Yeah,
Started teaching.
there's a few people that are still around that were before me. Todd Fox was there before me, Steve Berger, and then like guys like Brian Guidry and Hal showed up a little after me. But we all started within months
Yeah. Oh
of each
man.
other. So
It's like that original core.
yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have those friends still. It's amazing. Steve left, but the original group is still around, and the people from Omaha, and I know I can count. That's nice to have that. These are real friends.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
they're family at this point.
Yeah, they'll if I need something, I can call them.
Yeah.
And it's not and they don't like question me like, what do you need? Like we don't call each other a lot and ask for things, but
Right. But if you did.
it would be like, yeah, okay, I'll help you, whatever.
Yeah, that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. I found I've found that it's just such a really good community, and you can just connect not with everybody, but some of those people that you really connect with. It becomes like a brotherhood, or it's a
It is.
family.
Well, our first group, and I remember getting a tattoo, and I was like, oh god, I gotta get a tattoo.
Was that your very first tattoo?
Yeah, but we're talking about not even '97. Like tattoos are still kind of a little bit like.
A little fringe then. Yeah,
Yeah, I
taboo.
mean, people were like, "You can't get a tattoo if you want a job. You'll never get a job."
You lose your whole life.
Yeah, you can't eat if you don't eat meat, you can't have your pudding. I don't know. Yeah. So I remember getting that tattoo, and we all went together. It was Steve Berger, Todd Fox, Brian Guidry, Hal, Rodrigo, and I think some of the guys in Omaha maybe
Yeah.
got it right after us.
Whose idea was that?
I think Todd Fox.
Okay.
I don't remember for sure.
You remember?
I got mine. It was on the inside of the arm, and I got mine up a little high so you couldn't see it with the shirt on. What a
That's so
puss I
fun.
was.
That's so fun. And then now, I mean, it's just like
Now we got
whatever.
guys with tattoos on their face at the
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any. I mean, tattoos are kind of mainstream, and
Yeah, it's a different world that we live in. So when you were boxing, you boxed at North County.
for Jim Howe,
Yeah. I know we did what was it? I think we did weigh-ins there one year for
the Golden Gloves they
Gold
do. He's
Gloves.
the head of Golden Gloves, so
Okay.
it's every year there. But he
Yeah.
wasn't the head when I was
When you
when
were
I was fighting in Golden Gloves. But
yeah.
so now, yeah.
That
So
thing's a
Williams,
dungeon, man.
it's gone. It's done.
Is it not
It's
there
over.
anymore?
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, it was. There was. I posted the video of it when it was closed, and I went there and took a video of it and posted it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now he's at Saint. He's up there. He's like I don't know how old he is. He's gotten up there a little bit, and he's doing a couple. He can't drive at night. He said so. He just goes a couple days to St. Charles, and then Frank has another gym. They're at a community center.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that place when we walked in there, it reminded me of the old Rocky movie. I can't remember if it was three, maybe it was three, where Apollo trained Rocky. Was that three?
yeah, we're in Los Angeles, I think. Yeah,
I
it
think
was
so.
like that. It's not that big though. It was smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy back then because I never had anybody train me for a fight. I never once had a coach for a fight. I never had. It was just like you go, like I would go to, I was a school teacher,
Uh-huh.
so I would get off work if I coached high school wrestling or football. Then I would drive to the boxing gym, and then I'd spar, and then I'd go to jiu-jitsu, or I'd go to when I coached at Merrimack College with Mercatani. I'd go there, and then I'd drive to jiu-jitsu. But nobody put it together. It was like high school wrestling style. Hey, boxing, no kicks, or high school wrestling, or jiu-jitsu straight with the gi on.
Yeah.
Everything was there was no. I never had a coach. I mean,
Oh,
I had coaches. I never
right.
had an MMA coach.
Right.
Even Rodrigo was just like, yeah, you do jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
here. I'm not. He doesn't have like a jiu-jitsu MMA program.
Yeah. MMA was
So
barely even a thing then.
yeah, and so well, there was like Militich. They had all everywhere else that I fought. They just trained MMA, but
Oh,
they were.
really?
It wasn't like an MMA. People had MMA gyms.
Right.
They trained at the. Well, Militich did. He was way ahead of
He
everybody.
was way ahead of his time.
And then the Lions Den had something.
Yeah, I remember that Milicious camp. That was like the big deal for the longest time. I mean, they had Robbie Lawler, and obviously Pat Milicious was still training a little
Yeah, I
bit.
don't think that they can. Well, they had Pat Militich. He was the
Yeah.
UFC champion. He would have been champion for longer if he didn't have a student that was going to be champion.
Yeah.
He would have been. He lost to
They tend
Carlos Newton. I was there. He lost to Carlos Newton. He was kicking Carlos Newton's. From what I remember, I haven't watched it since then. Kicking his ass just the whole time, and then got submitted.
should have
Jiu-jitsu, baby.
Yeah, should have
That's
jiu-jitsu.
right. That's what I thought.
Should have had
like
it.
Sampo, he was losing. He was fighting Alexis Villa, who was, Olympic champion and
Yeah.
a world champion, and
Prime to go to the UFC at the time.
yeah, and he was losing. He won one round. It was 5 rounds. The fifth round, like a minute left, he chokes him.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Dude.
can't beat. I mean, jiu-jitsu is like people sleep on their jiu-jitsu, but I
Yeah.
don't know, that's not really the conversation. Is
And it's true though. I mean, I think about it. I was in a fight with I can't think of his name, Manny something or other. And it was second round, and I was on bottom, and I was losing that round, and my eye was swollen shut, and I hit him with an armbar.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, dude, saves lives, wins fights.
yeah,
So you were in college. You were an All-American in college, right?
yeah. My senior year,
And then you went on to coach. So you coached at Merrimack, but you also coached at McClure
McClure.
North, or
McClure.
just McClure? McClure rather.
regular McClure,
Yeah.
famous people from McClure, like Michael McDonald from Doobie Brothers.
I don't know who that is.
You would know his voice
Okay.
if you heard it.
I have to look. I have to look
You have to
him
look
up.
him up.
Yeah, I have to look
and,
him up.
And then yeah, so Tyron was there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So you've been coaching for a really long time.
yeah.
What drove you to coaching?
Because I love I think because I love my coaches in high school. It's like, man, this is, and I liked wrestling and I liked being around it
Yeah,
and football too. But I don't like football anymore really. But I just couldn't say I hate it. But
yeah,
it's just it's not for me. But wrestling, I just had such great experiences with my coaches and
yeah,
experiences with my teammates. I was like, man, I want to do this. And to me, being a coach, like, I think it's weird that people call people like coaches. Coach is like the ultimate name for me. It's like the ultimate, like, you say someone says you're his coach, and that's a big deal
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me.
It takes a lot of trust
Yeah,
to like build that relationship, and it feels really good to help somebody else like accomplish their
right.
goals. And you've done that time and time again.
Trying.
Yeah, man. So, what were the early days of MMA like in the city?
St. Louis. Oh, I mean, you should get Steve on this, and I could talk about it with him. But like, we started off a guy named Brian Madden started it, pretty much in St. Louis, and there was Jermaine Andre and
Yeah.
like Scott Ventimiglia and Joe something or another. I can't. CJ Fernandez over, and then there was us at Vaghi's, and he just would just call us like, hey, you guys should fight so we could do these shows, you know. And like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, we'll do the fight,
Yeah.
you know. And he was the one that really started it, MMA in St. Louis. A guy named Brian Madden,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
he
Where do you have shows at?
in Illinois. In Missouri, they didn't allow it.
Oh,
It
really?
wasn't allowed. In Illinois, you couldn't punch in the face. You could only punch. You could punch in the face standing up, but not on the ground. It was weird.
Huh.
But then I fought in Minnesota. There was zero rules, like no fighting, no rules at all. Knees to the face, on the ground,
Pride style.
elbows. It was pride style, and so you didn't know we didn't know anything. We didn't know what we were doing. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna get in the ring and fight. We don't know what we're doing. Throw punches or take the guy down, and
It's
you
like
know,
we're here.
we're here to fight, but we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what this other person has. There was no internet either. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you could find out about these shows up in certain places and go to them. And it
Right.
was all by telephone.
Yeah. Just somebody just called Rodrigo up and it's like, hey, you guys want to come up and
Nobody
fight?
called Rodrigo up. They just called us.
Oh, they just
Rodrigo's,
called you directly?
he's never been like he's a incredible. He's a great guy. He's never been like a manager type guy or
Yeah.
like that's not his thing.
Okay.
He's not. He's who he is.
Yeah. He runs his business. He
He
has
runs
he's
a
a
business.
coach.
He takes care of us. He doesn't.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's not an
He's not
MMA
like a
guy.
fight man, yeah.
He's just a jiu-jitsu. He's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Absolutely. So, how did they find out about you guys then? Like,
Brian found out. I don't know. That's like I said. We should probably talk to Steve
oh,
because
okay.
like Steve Steve would know. I don't remember. Steve introduced me to these people mostly.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm never he's way more outgoing,
He was
talking
just-
to people and stuff. And he'd be like, hey, Mike, we're going over here. You're going to fight in this show.
Yeah.
All right, let's fight.
He signed you up for a lot of stuff, didn't he?
Sign me up for fights on the streets. Sign me up for fights all kinds of stuff. You're going to do this. Oh, we're going to,
Yeah. Yeah, I have to sit down with Steve. He's I mean, he's had a hell of a journey for sure.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't had an easy life, man. He's had a hard life.
Yeah, yeah, full of fights.
Well, not just that. It's just people don't know. Like he's had it wasn't easy for him growing up. I mean, he has had, he come out good, but like he had a hard life growing up. If
Yeah.
he wants to talk about that, he can talk to you about it.
Right.
But yeah, he didn't have it the easiest. I had a much easier childhood than he did.
Hmm.
We were neighbors.
That's interesting, right? I mean, how two households can be completely different.
He had good parents. But it's just his mom was in a car accident, and she was quadriplegic, and basically in fourth grade when I met him, and then whenever basically he had to take care of her, till he was like a few years ago when she passed away.
Oh.
Like he was
Just had to grow up really
he was
fast.
a nurse
Oh, really?
as a 12-year-old,
Yeah.
11-year-old. He was a nurse.
Yeah.
He was he did all that stuff. His dad took care of her. He took care of her.
Yeah. That's
Can you go out? No, I have to. My dad has to go to work. I have to be the nurse.
Yeah.
I mean that encompasses everything of being a nurse as a quadriplegic. Someone can't do anything.
Right.
She can move one arm.
Yeah.
The news she can't walk. You have to do everything. That is, just think about it. You have to do everything.
Right.
Not easy.
No, not at all. That's probably why he made such a like a good coach and like friend as far as just like taking care of people.
I don't know, man.
No?
I don't know what the deal. I don't know about that. I just know that.
Huh.
I know his life wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And so.
Now you did you fight Dan Severn? Or
no,
were you
I
supposed
was
to?
supposed to fight him, and then back then people did works.
Yeah.
People that do works, and I fought Travis Fulton, and I knocked Travis Fulton out, and then um, the next show was a guy named Randy Greenman did shows. He's another interesting guy. He was murdered by a biker gang.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and they anyway. So
I think I remember this
he
story.
funded I think he funded a lot of his fights through sales of
Illegal stuff,
drugs.
narcotics and whatnot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, he had set this fight up. He would pay. Well, at the weigh-ins, Dan Severn sees Travis, and Travis is like, no. He asked if that was a work. He figured it was a work, and Travis was like, no, it wasn't a work. And the next day, he didn't show up.
Really?
Not that he was scared to fight me. I just think he probably wasn't ready to fight.
Yeah, like a real fight. When you say work, like it was.
I mean, it was like a WWE.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Back then, WWF.
It was staged.
It was all staged.
Yeah. Man, that's a shame. So, if I recall right, did they want you to fight Dan, and they wanted it to be staged, and you said no?
No.
No.
No, they didn't, no, Randy didn't do that. I don't know where they did that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe different. I don't know of any personally know of any staged fights. I know they did them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought, and that's why I wanted to ask you about it, because I thought maybe I had heard that Dan Severn wanted you to take a fall, and like you said no.
No.
So that's why the fight didn't happen.
No. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, man. So you're on the scene in the early days. So you stopped fighting in 2004, you said?
Hmm.
Man, yeah, that's not too far after. I mean, I think I walked into the gym in 2009.
Probably 8.
9.
9.
8 or 9, one of the two, the end of 8,
We
beginning of
started
9.
in 7, so.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So yeah, that wasn't, you weren't too far removed from your career at that point.
Yeah, probably not.
So so what made you want to start a gym, right? Because so you at that point you were done coaching as far as at schools and right? And
Yeah, I don't remember why I did that. I guess I wanted to be a coach, and I wanted to work for myself, and I have no idea, man.
Yeah,
this
like,
is like probably maybe wasn't the best idea to ever. It's right now it is a great idea. I'm
12
happy
years
I did
later.
it, but it was rough. It has not been easy. I don't know
Right.
why I decided to do it, and I decided to be a jiu-jitsu coach. I was like, it's going to be a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, and then we all know Rodrigo's not a Brazilian MMA gym, so all of his fighters, everybody that wanted to be a fighter from his gym, just came directly to our gym.
right.
You know, they just showed up. You know, like, hey, Rodrigo said that you're going to teach MMA. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do. I will teach it, but it wasn't going to be my focus. You know, and then, but everybody showed up. It was like Lance Benoist, Ashley Cummins, Matt Ricehouse,
Bobby Russell.
Bobby didn't come from over there.
Oh, okay.
These guys came from Rodrigo's.
Oh, I got
Those
you.
3 guys came from over there. Oh, 2 guys and a girl.
Yeah.
And they came from over there. Like, hey, Ashley was hard because like there was no little. She was really young and
Yeah.
not big and not particularly athletic, just pretty tough. And so getting people to it's much easier now for females than it was then.
Yeah.
Even in the gym, much easier.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, the sport's grown so much,
Yeah.
and even if there aren't like a lot of other women in the gym, there's usually some smaller guys that they could train with.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, there weren't a ton of people probably walking into the gym at first.
Not our gym.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that gym. I remember the first time I walked in there, I was nervous myself.
Yeah.
Because I was still, I don't know, I think it's still my last year at Lindenwood, and Sampo was up there training. And I think at that time, I guess you were probably getting quite a few people walking in from Lindenwood,
Um,
or a few anyway.
our people from Sampo and out. The only people that really from there that have stuck is
Oh yeah,
you Sampo and out. They're the ones that have done.
yeah.
The
Probably,
rest of them, like Jason Moreno, he was really good, but he didn't. He wouldn't take it too seriously.
right. I remember Johnny.
Johnny Rodriguez,
Yeah.
and he like same thing. He didn't. It wasn't. He moved it back to California.
Right, right. Yeah, man. But I remember walking in there. It's just one room. I think there was 3 bags in the room. I do believe, and that was it. I think a weight rack.
Yeah, we had a weight rack
What, a
and
weight
bathroom.
rack? Yeah, yeah, off
Shower.
to the side. Yeah, there's like a couch and like a shower and bathroom and stuff there. But like the actual training, it was a lot of good times in that place.
Yeah, there was a lot of good fighters that came through there. I mean, they still do. Like
Still do.
a lot of them. Yeah, but yeah, it was. we had a lot of good. We had better. We had so many. I don't know. We had a lot of good fighters, man, and it kind of just went to shit. But then, now it's better than now. It's much better than
Yeah, those were different times though because everybody was amateur, right? There was
there
no.
wasn't even pro in Missouri, so
Yeah,
at the time, so uh, it was hard to get fights.
yeah,
There wasn't any, it wasn't as big as it is now.
right. I remember one time we all, I think it was like me and EJ and Kirk Huff, maybe a couple other people, or at least one other person. We all piled in your blue Cadillac that you had at the time, and we drove down to Ironton, Missouri,
Yeah,
out in the middle of
did a boxing
did a
match.
boxing match
Yeah,
out there. Yeah, just out in the middle of nowhere.
it was Rice House.
Mm.
It was you, Rice House, EJ, and there was somebody else because it's five of us.
Kirk Huff for
Kirk,
sure. Yeah,
then Kirk. Yeah,
yeah.
that was a good group.
Oh, you know what? Lance was there too.
Lance probably drove on his own.
Did he? Yeah. Either way, we were all piled.
The only reason I know Matt is because we were in a really long traffic jam because of the DWI checkpoint, like forever, because we had to drive him. Let's remember where we were dropping him off at.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I just remember driving to that place. I'm just like, whoa, where are we going? We're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
But that's what you had to do back then.
yeah, that's what you have to do now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's what helped create like that sense of family, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we all did those things. We drove to Ironton, drove to Sullivan, down to Rolla, the old school Cage Champs days.
Yeah, we're still doing that though. We're still going to case champs. They're still going to. I mean, I'm probably gone 30 weekends of the year.
Yeah, you're traveling all the time.
Just going to different places because St. Louis is hard to get fights, and
Yeah.
hopefully that'll change. But
Yeah. Do you have any shows that you like better than others? I don't want to put you on the spot and like put anybody down, but
I
like,
don't. I don't have any. I just
or any that stick out.
no. I want whatever's best for the fighter.
Yeah.
So I don't care where they fight as long as it's best for them.
Yeah.
It's more like matchups because I don't even. If we go out of town, a lot of times I don't even know the name of the show. I don't. It's just kind of like I
Yeah.
don't remember the name. What's the name of the what was that show down there? I don't know.
Yeah. They all blend
You know?
together.
Yeah, I know. I know the St. Louis ones now, but I didn't even know what the name of Nemesis was. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I don't know.
Dude, they come and go
Right.
all the time.
It's just.
So what are you gonna do? How do you keep up with them? I mean, obviously Shamrock's around for a really long time, but was Case Champs before Shamrock or kind of around the same time? Did they kind of start around the same time? Do you remember?
Shamrock was first.
Shamrock was first.
Shamrock was doing kickboxing matches. So Shamrock was basically Jesse Finney was doing shows, kickboxing shows in St. Louis while we were doing MMA shows in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't get into MMA right away.
hmm
So they were kickboxers. They were really good.
Yeah.
So, but they were just kickboxers only. And now I think he doesn't coach anymore. I don't know. But they were good.
Yeah.
But they didn't do MMA.
Yeah.
But Brian Madden and Randy Greenman, they're basically Brian Madden's the first one, and then Randy Greenman was probably a couple years after.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, so for the folks listening who don't know, because I'm gonna toot your own horn, because you're just so modest whenever you like talk about all the people who've come through the gym. I mean, you've produced so many high level fighters out of our gym. I mean, we mentioned like Josh Sampo went to the UFC. Lance Benoist went to the UFC. How old was Lance? Like 21 when he was in the UFC?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you wouldn't even let him go pro until he was 21, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have nowhere to put him in the fights and wanted him to get good. He's the best fighter we've ever had.
It's
I'm not
amazing
saying that I'm not saying he's the best fighter. I don't know he's the best fighter, but damn, he was good.
He was
he
so
was better
tough.
he's better than Tyrant. He was better than I mean, I don't know. He's mentally tough. He fell asleep before a fight one time. He was fighting Eric Irvin, and who was a good fighter.
Yeah.
And we're all nervous, and we're getting ready for a fight. We're all there, and then it was in our building, and we walked out to the cage, and we're like, "Where the hell's Lance at?" He was sleeping, man. He was sleeping. I walked in there. There was nobody left in the whole warm up area. Just him laying in the thing, laying on the mats.
That's so funny.
Sleeping. Then he crushed
Yeah.
Eric, and Eric's a good fighter. I'm just saying what happened.
That's just
it.
how good he was, though.
Oh man, he crushed the guys in the UFC, and then he won Fight of the Night in the UFC, and then his brother passed away.
Yeah,
And
that
it
was
went downhill.
Yeah.
Everything went to shit. His brother died. It's his twin brother, and even though he didn't train right anymore and everything, he still won. I felt like he won the fights that he lost. I felt like they could have went his way.
Right.
Definitely the fight in Florida. I think that the judges sucked on that. He won the 4 minutes of a round and then lost the last minute every time. So it
Yeah.
just shows you like how you finish the round is so important.
It's so important how you finish.
But he was so good. He was. And we've had great guys, but he was probably he was unbelievable.
He was definitely something special at such a young age,
God,
right?
he could just throw. He could beat you everywhere, everywhere, man. You've trained with him,
I've trained with him. I love training with him. Yeah, man, his jiu-jitsu was great. I
yeah.
mean, his striking was great. He was just like the definition of a fighter.
But then he tore both of his labrums in his shoulders and both of his labrums in his hip.
Yeah.
Like, he's done.
Body fell apart. Yeah, there was. I wish I was there for the story, but there was. I heard the story where he was warming up, hitting pads before a fight, and then his opponent just walked off.
Yeah,
Just left.
I remember that. I don't remember exactly what happened there, but I do remember that. I remember that happening.
Yeah, that's a scary dude, man. He was a stone cold killer.
Right. I don't blame the guy for leaving.
Yeah, I mean, he probably would have got his
Nowadays, at
block
that
knocked
time,
off.
I was probably like, "Damn, man, I need to get this kid a fight so he could build his record up."
Yeah.
But at the time, I don't remember if the guy was good or if it was pro or amateur. I remember that happened.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know. Also, another time was I think before a pro fight, he got split. Right, he got a cut over his face.
Yeah, I wasn't
hit
even
by
there.
a door.
I wasn't there for that because I was at another show.
Yeah.
It was at Finney's card, and they were in Lumiere, and he was standing by the door, and one of the officials opened the door and it hit him in the head and it cut his head.
Yeah.
So he had to get. But
He still fought.
yeah, he
Still won.
Yeah, yeah, he was good, man.
Yeah, man. Some guys would
Everybody,
use that.
yeah, those guys. The first group was really good. This group we got now is just as good. They're just and there's more opportunity for them. So
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, man. We got a good group now for sure. But man, that group back then was just so good. I mean, EJ Brooks. I mean, he's
Yeah.
still fighting, obviously, but during that time, that's whenever he really went on that tear in Bellator.
Well, yeah. Well, now he's on a tear.
Yeah, he's even. Yeah,
Now he's way better than he was back then.
yeah.
He's really good now. He's really opened his game up, and now he's on a tear. I
Yeah.
think he's getting a little older, so he's got to make this time work. But and he's coaching high school wrestling, so 3 or 4 months pretty much go to nothing.
Yeah,
because you're
just all
coaching.
Yeah,
But he's still good.
yeah. And we've mentioned Tyron a few times, but I want to talk about it because I think it's important for people to know that he started at our gym, and he won't give that credit out there.
Yeah, it pisses Todd Fox off.
Yeah.
Todd hates him.
It does piss people off because especially when you go on and like I don't have anything against Tyron. I like Tyron. But I feel like credit should be given where it's
Well,
due.
he's a businessman, so he's the kid that I coached him in high school, right?
Yeah, you coached him
So
in high school.
the kid that I knew in high school, and it's just I don't know, it's just it was to me it's a sad situation, but it is what it is now. I don't
Yeah.
really have yeah.
Yeah, but I can remember whenever I walked into the gym, I remember training with Tyron at that time a little bit.
Right.
And he was splitting time between our gym and American Top
Yeah,
Team.
well, I made him hold pads for you that day.
Yeah.
You used to throw punches kind of like in a wrestler stance. I said, man, go over there and help Adam out. I remember he fixed you and like that. That was the last time you may not remember. That was the last time you punched like in a wrestling stance. He's smart. He's super smart.
He's
but
really
that's
good.
He came to me after college and he was like, hey, I want to be a fighter, so show me the way. And I'm like, okay. He came into the gym with the purple belt, and I was like, but he didn't even know how to do an armbar. So first of all, you put the white belt on.
Yeah.
Put a white belt on and learn how to do jiu-jitsu. So he did that, and he went back, and he was with us for 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
Made him fight amateur, and
Yeah.
didn't make him do boxing, then went pro. I think he was 8-0 when he left. But he left I had a friend named Derek. I still have a friend named Derek. He's still a great friend of mine. But Derek is a personal trainer, and he's in like an elite area personal training place called the Edge Fitness.
Yeah, right around the corner from
I'm
here.
sorry, Fitness
Edge. Yeah, I think they're
It's a
right
big-
around the corner.
Yeah, they're right here.
Yeah.
Well, I called him and said, look, I got this kid. He doesn't have any money. He graduated college, but he could get a job, but he just doesn't have any money. What do you think about training him? And then when he makes, because I think he can be the champion, then he starts paying you. He's like, yeah, I want to do it. Because, he was an athlete too. He trained jiu-jitsu with us.
Yeah.
And so he started doing that. And in this place, all the rich people in St. Louis are there, like the elites.
Yeah.
So he met a group, a Sandstone group. I think they owned this apartment complex. Because
Oh,
saw a truck when I came in here. He met one of the Sandstone brothers. And they're like, hey, you should open your own gym up. I'll fund it. So he got this funding for this gym from this guy, and he came to me and he says, look, I want you to close St. Charles MMA, and you could be my head coach at my gym instead.
No.
I'm like, that's all right. I'll pass on that. And I was really, I'll say pass on it. I probably said it in different words.
Different words.
Yeah. And him leaving really sucked, but really sucked the worst was whenever he called all you guys and tried to get you to go to his gym, which I don't know if he called you.
He never called me.
He called up Alp and all these guys that are good, all the good fighters. They're not you.
But, yeah, he called.
And he was trying to get them to go to his gym and
Yeah.
leave, and only Labasco was the only one that left. But
Yeah.
maybe at the time you were in Texas.
I think I probably was in Texas when that happened.
So, because he would have called you, guaranteed. He called everybody up and tried to get him to leave, and I'm like, man, after all this, I've driven him to all these shows. I tried to get him on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Got him signed up with Strikeforce. Pretty much got him to a point where he knew jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I'm the first person to help pass for him. Nobody ever taught. I helped pass for him so much.
Yeah.
And then he's like, they got this rich guy going to buy me a gym. You want to come over here and close yours down? No, I don't want to do that. And then, to call everybody up and say, hey, you should leave Mike because I can get you on Strikeforce. I know all these people. I can get you all these fights, and try and get everybody out. I thought that was just, and nowadays I don't expect him to say anything because he never has. He never has given any kind of credit. I work with him more than anybody that I've ever worked with.
Yeah, dude. I remember one time at the original gym, I came in. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but it was just me, Tyron, and Lance, and we were just sparring in there.
Had a rough day, huh?
I did have a rough day. Dude, I did have a rough day.
Was I there?
You weren't there. It was just us three, and it might have been like a Friday or something. I don't know what was going on, but I showed up and it was them two in there. I'm like, sweet. And yeah, I did have a rough day, man. They put it on me. It was a good time though. That's how you get better.
Yeah. Well, he did after he won the title, the UFC. He sent me a text like the next morning, and it just said thanks. There was nothing else. Nothing like, hey man, what's up? Just a thank you, thanks. That
Really?
was it. Yeah. And then he called me up, and he took me to lunch, and that was it. I haven't seen him since.
Really? Yeah, man. Hopefully there's like no animosity there after the time, but I just wish that like when he went on Joe Rogan, like he wouldn't say stuff like I had no coach.
Yeah, that's just
like
he had no. He's like,
that's what gets me. Like you had a coach for sure.
You had a coach for a long time.
Yeah,
buddy. You drained your coach.
I mean, there's plenty of video of you in every corner.
Yeah.
Right, in all of his corners. I mean, how many times have you been in the UFC corner?
I don't know. I didn't coach him in UFC though. Just Strikeforce.
Yeah. So, but you're there for all through his Strikeforce days.
I was there during his high school, and then I remember taking him to a show. I take him to watch, I think, me fight at Pops.
Oh, really?
Okay, Pops. You know what Pops is,
yeah,
right?
over on the east side.
The bar that never closes?
Yeah.
Like, he was 16. I took him to Pops. I told his mom, she's like, you can go. Don't worry about it. I trust you, Mike. And
yeah.
So I picked him up, and I drove him over there. I'm like, you could do this, man. You can do this, and you can be the champion someday.
Yeah.
And so I took him over to Pops. It was funny because there was a lot of big name guys over on that show at Pops that night.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name that was there that I was so surprised from Maryland. The guy that has Alliance Jiu-Jitsu. Lloyd Irvin.
Okay.
Lloyd Irvin. Not Alliance Jiu-Jitsu, but anyway. Lloyd Irvin was there for that one. I remember meeting Lloyd Irvin there.
I have to look him up. I'm not very good with names.
Oh, that's okay. He's a big time jiu-jitsu guy.
Okay. When we were at Worlds last year, Tracy had to point out all the big time jiu-jitsu people to me.
Right. I don't know who they are either anymore.
He's like, that's Cyborg, and that's such and such, and I'm just like, oh shit, these people. Let me get some pictures. I don't know who you are, but let me get a picture.
I don't know. I know who Lloyd Irvin is because he's been in the news a lot, and he's got a lot of students, and
Yeah.
he's a really self promoter.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Very nice to me whenever I see him. He's nice.
I just had this thought. Speaking of old guys, Dean Lister. Did you fight Dean Lister?
No,
Okay.
no. Me and Steve went to San Diego one time, and I don't know. People talk. Steve Berger tells people this, and so I was like, it was Fabio Santos' gym,
Okay.
and I got to roll with him, and I got to roll with Jacko Willick,
Oh, Jocko Willink.
and and then me and Steve. Well, that's it. Me, Steve, and those two.
Oh
We
wow.
got to roll.
That must have been a good time.
It was cool. It was. I think that I would have enjoyed it more now. At the time it was just two guys. I didn't
Just
know.
two guys.
Yeah, I didn't know. Dean Lister, I knew who he was because I saw him at the Hickson Gracie tournament.
Right.
So and he crushed everybody there.
Yeah.
So.
Jocko wasn't anybody at that time though, as far as
He was a Navy SEAL.
He was a Navy
so
SEAL.
I was like, man, this guy's a Navy SEAL. He's, I gotta have. I
Yeah.
mean, he's cool. I mean.
Oh yeah.
You're for a Navy SEAL, man. I think
Still
you're cool.
badass. Oh, I do too.
Yeah,
But he just wasn't so well known like he is now, right? I mean, he has
wasn't.
books and podcasts, and everybody knows who he is now. But then,
Right. He was because back then, if you went to somebody's gym and to roll, it wasn't like now. It was more of like your gym storming if you're doing that. Back then, it wasn't as open as it is now.
oh really?
And that's kind of like how we kind of still are. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
But-
like that old school gang mentality.
Yeah, but Rodrigo was our instructor. Rodrigo Vaghi was an instructor at the original Gracie Muay Thai gym, where Fabio Santos was also, and they were both under Hickson
Hmm.
at the time. So they were very cordial to us and super
Yeah.
nice, and they're really good, nice people.
Right. Yeah, man. I would love to go out there and get beat up by some of those guys.
Yeah, you do fine. It's just,
Yeah, I'm sure I
yeah,
would.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rodrigo's been here for a really long time. I want to sit down with him because that's just so interesting to think about, like the origins. Because, I mean, Hickson only has so many black belts, and we have one of them right here in St. Louis.
yeah, yeah. Rodrigo trained with Hickson until he's a brown belt.
Oh, really?
So he was actually Rodrigo was actually one of the instructors at the academy. So, the original Gracie Muay Thai Academy, and then Hickson moved to United States, and Rodrigo was still in Brazil, and he got his black belt with some really good, like Salo from
Oh.
Euler.
Okay.
But they're all together,
Right.
What who gave who what? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but I know that Hickson was in Los Angeles
Right. When did you get your black belt?
in 2009.
2009. Okay. So a couple years after you had started the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you've always just got like 2 or 3 stripes, and then you were promoted to the next one through
Three
like,
Yeah,
through
that's what I tell you.
competition.
I got 4 stripes as a blue, and then 3 stripes as purple, 3 stripes as brown. That's why I tell all you guys. I'm like, people. I don't get too worked up about stripes.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready to get promoted, you'll get promoted.
Yeah.
And if you have 1 stripe but you're a brown belt as a purple belt, then I'm gonna move you.
Now, was that also kind of have we always been like a competition school? Because like Pedigo, for example, like they're a very heavy competition school. I say we're probably a little bit less than them at St. Charles MMA, but
I don't know, man.
that's
We're a little harder than most places to get belts. That's the way it is, But I would think Brian Guidry, God, he's hard to get belts. I don't know if he has any brown belts. He started his gym before me.
I can't think of any brown belts over at Guidry's.
So he's really hard. I think that I'm fair, but I'm hard, but I'm fair about. I'm getting ready to give our first black belt in like 3 days.
I'm so excited for
So
that.
I can say it, but he doesn't know. So
Yeah, well, he won't. This will be out
And then-
afterwards anyway.
I think that there's going to be a lot more coming faster.
Yeah.
For black, because we have so many brown belts that are ready to go,
Kinda
be
on the
moved up,
cusp
and
there.
we have purple belts that are moved to brown.
Yeah.
But I think there's a bunch of brown belts now that in the next year, so should get a black.
Yeah. Well, I was just wondering at Rodrigo's school, is that kind of how he's always done it too, or?
He's going away from that now. I think a little bit because he is that way, but he has more of an executive jiu-jitsu going on now.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of older guys. And,
Business professionals.
yeah, so he's being a little bit easier, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be.
Oh yeah.
Or not that, he's not going to be easier on me given,
Yeah.
I'm giving Alan his black belt after he's been a brown belt for like forever and been at 4 stripes forever. And
Yeah.
he's like, buddy, are you sure? I'm like, man, I'm sure. I'm so sure that I'm telling you I have to give it to him. I'm not even, I don't have a choice anymore. I have to do it.
Yeah, man.
Hey, buddy, could you maybe ask him to do one more tournament? Oh, man, I don't think I can, man. I don't think I can. He's not going to do it. He's the vice president of Mercy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's such a unique circumstance, right? I
Yeah.
mean, because he used to compete all the time when he was like coming up. I remember him doing quite a few competitions.
Yeah.
And then
He did great. He beat a lot of good people.
I mean, I remember at least he beat at least one black belt as a purple belt, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he obviously he teaches a lot, but like you said,
He teaches every Monday night.
teaches every Monday. He's been doing jiu-jitsu consistently for years.
Yeah.
And then
He's a black belt.
Yeah.
We have a lot of brown belts and black belts.
Yeah,
right now.
but is competing as even feasible for him anymore because I mean, he has,
It's feasible. He could do it. He's just not going to do it.
yeah, I mean, like I
It's
said,
just everybody can do it.
just with time is I guess what I mean. I mean, he has 2 kids.
It's
He's
not. It's
president of a
less
company.
the time. It's the mentality to do it.
Okay.
You could all. We could all go compete. Do you have the mentality to go out there and compete all the time? I mean, how serious do you take it? Because, I think some people that go out and compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments take it too seriously. Like, oh, if I don't, I have to be in the greatest shape ever. And no, this is your lifestyle. You train on a regular basis. You'll be fine. Maybe ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're ready. You're ready. It's just, do you have that mentality to say, I want to go out there
And do it.
be in, it's great if you win, but man, even if you win, sometimes it's just so hard, and you're getting your face smashed in the mat, guys choking the hell out of you. It's like, it's even if it's like harder than practice because we all have that easy way out where we tap,
Yeah.
but you're not tapping in a match.
No, intensity's turned up.
You're not turning. You're not. You're miserable. These guys, you're almost dead.
Yeah,
I'm not tapping.
I'd almost rather just be miserable for the 5 minutes than to tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I would rather I can do this for 5 minutes. The guy can crush me, and I can.
Yeah.
I can, I can take this.
Yeah.
But in practice, I used to have that more. Like I used to be, like I wouldn't let anybody tap me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was bigger than everybody else, and I was probably a better wrestler than all these guys. And
you're far more athletic than you than you let.
I'm not anymore. I'm 45 and 300 pounds. It's hard to be athletic anymore.
Yeah.
I think I can still be athletic if I lost some weight and trained. I don't.
Yeah. Just doing the movement.
But do I have the mentality to get in there and do it all the time?
That's the question. When's the last time you competed? I know you.
Like 2009. I lost.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. It wasn't a good match for me.
Yeah. Well, 2008, you won. Was it Worlds or Pans?
I think 2007, I won both.
Okay.
Brown belt and
Yeah.
Masters.
Yeah, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that time, were Worlds weren't in Vegas, were they? Were Master Worlds in Vegas, or they were all held out in California?
They were in California somewhere.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't even have the medals or anything.
You don't keep them?
I think they're somewhere, but I don't remember. I'm not sure of the year either because I'm trying to negotiate with IBJJF right now. Like they're like, you were a member here? I'm like, yeah, I competed several years, and they're like, well, what years? I give them the years. They're like, no, you didn't compete that year. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go find a medal.
Yeah.
And let them find out what the year was.
Yeah. There's a picture in the gym. I think it's the Pan picture.
Yeah, I guess I could use that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one was 2008, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look. But Pans are on the East Coast, right?
They were on the West Coast when
They're
I
on.
did it. They were in California.
Everything was in California?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the whole jiu-jitsu scene has evolved quite a bit in a fast amount of time.
When I was really competing, though, there was nowhere to go compete jiu-jitsu. You couldn't. When we would have to go somewhere. It wasn't like now where they had tournaments in St. Louis. Like
Yeah.
I remember we drove. I didn't go. Oklahoma, there was a tournament. Todd Fox and Hal and Brian Guidry went down there for a tournament, and That was the only tournament I remember in St. Louis when I was competing.
When did Naga come around?
After I was competing. I don't know. Went to Brazil for Worlds as a blue belt,
Oh, that's cool.
and I was one match away from placing, but I broke my finger. See that?
Oh, is that what that's
Like the
from?
first week I was there,
Oh,
I broke my finger, and it broke the tip of my finger in half. So that whole bone was broken in half.
oh shit.
And I remember I was doing the training camp with it. It was with Salo and Gracie Maitai at the time was good. They had that was the year Hoyler was in the training camp. Like
Okay.
they were good. First day, it was a 2-week training camp, and then you were going to go do Worlds. Broke my finger, and they're like, "Oh, you pussy, you broke your finger." Oh, I was like, "Man, this hurts. This is terrible. This is terrible." At the time, I thought I was a pussy too. I was like, "This is my finger," but I got back, and it was broken half. They put a pin through it and then put a button on it. It was
Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like some serious shit.
yeah, it was. I mean, it's a finger, so not too serious. You cut your finger off and be okay,
Yeah.
but at the time, I was like, man, this sucks. I don't have any grip on this hand at all.
Yeah.
I can't use it.
You gotta have grips.
And with the Hulk or Gracie's like, you are a pussy. You are just a huge pussy, aren't you? You're in here kicking everybody's ass. You got a little finger hurt, and now you can't even go.
Well, you
I
should.
wasn't kicking everybody's ass. I was beating the guys that I was going with, which was not Salo.
Yeah. You're supposed to be able to just tape that up, Mike, and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Those are some crazy times, dude.
I mean, yeah, it was a different time. Because nowadays you can even keep track. You can talk to people if you go out. I mean, it's a smaller world.
Yeah.
Back then I was gone for 2 weeks. Didn't talk to anybody else. There's no way, no phone. You couldn't call anybody. It was just, and even while you're there, like I would take a bus to the practice, which was like 10, 20 stops. It took a couple hours to get to the bus. I don't remember really.
Yeah.
It took a while. So
Everything
we ride
was
the bus
slower.
with everybody else. It's just, all right, what time's practice? 5? Okay, so we were in an apartment, it was me and, I don't remember, me and Ed Shobe from Omaha, who's a black belt now.
I know, Ed. Yeah.
It was me and Ed. And, all right, it starts at 5. We leave the house at 2. We'll get on it's a bus in Brazil. We don't know the language, I got gun pulled on me twice in Brazil.
What?
Both times with police
Why? Do you know?
because I was
Just
probably lost.
Used to
What are you
fitness
doing? He was like shaking, got his revolver pointing at me. I'm like, American man. I don't speak Portuguese.
Oh man. So what would you guys do all day, like in between training?
I don't remember, man. Nothing.
Nothing.
I don't remember.
Nothing we could
That
talk
was-
about.
that's no. I mean, I don't remember. That's 20 years ago,
Man.
or 19 years ago, 18 years ago. I don't remember. We did fun stuff in Brazil after this tournament was over. We stayed for a couple of days.
Okay.
Or one time I went for fun. Todd and Steve Berger.
You've been to Brazil a couple different times. Twice. Man, that's definitely on the bucket list. Like I have to go down there and check it out.
Yeah, I think you should do it.
For sure, man. I don't know if the best time to go would be like when they have like the big carnival, when it's like a big madhouse
We
down
were
there.
down there. They won world title or World Cup.
Oh, that
The
must
year they
be.
won the World Cup is one year. So if you look that up, we'll know when I was down there.
Okay,
98, 97, 98 probably.
that must have been a wild time.
It was crazy, man. There was just the streets were full. Like after we watched the soccer game at one of Rodrigo's friends' house, and then the streets went crazy. There was people all over the streets. You know, we were there for we were out partying, and then all of a sudden, the police had enough, and they pull out their guns and they start shooting them in the air.
Time to go home.
Yeah, you guys all got to leave. Bam, 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 bam. Everybody's like, just kind of look at them like, okay. Me, I was just like,
Yeah,
Let's go.
I've been worried because those bullets have to come back down.
yeah, they got to come back down. That's right. Bam, 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 bam. What the hell's going on here?
Oh,
Different
man.
world.
Different world. Yeah, the internet's definitely changed things, right? Because like you said, you went down there and you were just completely cut off for 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, you can't operate in our world anymore without the internet. You can't operate. Like, I'd love to turn off. I'm a kind of a Facebook all the time guy, and I want to not be. But if I'm off of Facebook, I'm not connected to,
You miss so much.
well, yeah, I'm not connected to anybody who tries to get a hold of me, in touch with me.
Yeah,
Because everybody uses Messenger too.
right.
Especially people that don't know you.
Yeah.
That's a good way for them to get a hold of you because they, oh, well, do you know Mike Rogers? Oh, no, but he's on Facebook, and then I get a message from somebody from, hey, can you use this guy? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I've tried just like deleting the app or not being on there, and I'll end up missing a whole bunch at the gym.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can't not be on it,
Yeah.
even when I don't want to be on it, which I like it. You know, I can't, I'm not saying I don't like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I enjoy looking at Facebook. I like arguing, and I like seeing what my friends are doing,
Yeah.
you know, and old friends that I don't see. I like all that.
Yeah, that's so funny. Since you said that, I want to ask you. So I just listened to a Joe Rogan. Fuck, man, I wish I could remember the guy's name. He's gonna run for president in 2020. Danny Yang, something Yang. He's an Asian fella, and he's running on the platform of universal basic income, where everybody gets $1,000 a month.
Yeah, I don't know if it worked or not.
I
I
don't know
don't
if
know.
it'll work, but what do you think about it?
I don't know.
I
I
like
really
the
don't
idea.
know. Does it take away the incentive to work? Like maybe it would work. Something like that might work if you make somebody work. Like you get universal basic income. I don't know. Then are we going to socialism because that would ruin everything?
Well,
I
his
don't know.
idea was everybody gets $1,000 between I think it was 18 and 64 years
Whether
old,
you work or don't,
whether you work or not.
whether
And
you make money or don't.
yeah,
So if you make $1 million a year, you still get that 1,000.
you can still get it if you want it.
So it's like Alaska has that, I think too.
Yeah, and he talked about that a lot because Alaska's been doing it for like 20 or
But
30
they make that
years.
money off of oil.
Right. So the idea is that like that extra $1,000 a month it will inevitably go back into the economy. 'Cause you can't really live off
I
$1,000 a
don't.
month.
I can't say. Yeah, I can't say yes or no. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like. I know Eric Prim was telling me about that, so
Yeah,
I can't say. I'm so against the government.
being in
And
things.
I'm so against the government
Yeah.
that it's hard for me to like even with like it sounds so great. I'd love to have universal health care. I would love to have it.
Yeah, he
I don't
talked about
think
that
it'll
some
work.
too.
I don't think it would ever work. There's no way. It just goes to shit.
Yeah,
Everything goes to shit. When the government takes care of things, everything goes to shit.
yeah,
And that's a fact.
yeah, and that's what we were talking about at the gym the other day with. I mean, I was on my fucking soapbox anyway with student loans and whatnot because
Right.
the government got involved. You know,
Yeah.
they started subsidizing all these loans. So then in
Now you
return,
can't even pay for it out of pocket unless you, even if you want to.
right?
Like, and then they put people like you or whoever else has got government these loans.
Yeah,
They're at good rates, I think, but they're still you can't default on them. So
yeah.
they will give them to anybody.
Anybody, people who
Anybody.
don't know anything
So
about it.
you know how they fix that? Let people default on them.
True.
You let people default on them, you won't give them a loan. But, I mean, they banks are in it to make money.
Yeah,
So if you're going to default on that loan, they're not going to give it to you.
right.
They don't care. Banks don't. Banks are the least like racial bubble anything. They don't care.
It's all about the
They-
numbers.
if they think you're going to get their money back, they'll give you the loan
Yeah,
at 7% or whatever they're going to give it to you at. They're going to give you the loan. But so if the government says you can't default on this loan, now you have whole colleges with whole departments at colleges based on getting you a loan to pay them to put you in debt, and then they tell you that you're going to make money back doing
yeah,
underwater basket weaving or whatever the hell you're going to do.
right.
Which you're not going to make that money back. Then you're going to be mad at everybody else but yourself for taking that loan out.
Yeah,
Well, it's
exactly.
everybody's fault but yours.
Yeah, well, the thing is, man, these young kids come in and they don't have any knowledge or they don't
Right.
even understand what they're doing.
Right.
And-
So if you let's say you get rid of that department, right? You get rid of that department for the whole department trying to get student loans,
Yeah.
right? Because there is no such thing, or you'll give you a student loan, but it has to be within somebody who's probably going to pay it back, or maybe your parents co-sign on it because they're not going to default on a loan because they're going to.
Yeah.
It's going to bring the price of college down.
It should because the fact that all the loans are guaranteed,
Right.
that's the reason all the prices went up.
And all the people they
What's this
paid,
guy's- I'm gonna look this guy's name up. I'm
And all
still
the-
listening to you though.
all the people they pay to get you to get those loans.
Yeah, man.
Same with the healthcare. Like half of the doctor's office are paying so much in just paying people to get paid from the insurance because it's a complicated operation. They have codes and like they have to put them in a certain way. Oh, you didn't put that in the right way. Well, it's still the same operation, but you're not. Well, we know it's the same operation, but you need to put the wrong code in, so you're not getting paid.
Yeah, man. And w- so yeah, the whole healthcare system with insurance is weird because it drives up prices, right? Because the hospitals, whoever, know that they're gonna submit that to the
Right.
insurance and they're gonna pay a certain amount.
Right.
And but if you paid for certain things out of pocket, like I don't just routine checkups.
If you the how I would do it if I was God, if I was a all powerful dictator, socialist dictator, I would what would I do? I would get rid of regular health care, and I would just have like what the healthcare if you have a major operation,
Yeah.
this is like catastrophe healthcare, and then everything else would be pay out of pocket, and you would pay everything would be cheaper.
It would definitely make things cheaper. His name's Andrew Yang. I want to plug this guy because I liked his platform. I was like, I'm all for it. Give me $1,000 a month. Because if I could take that $1,000 a month and just put it towards my student loans, that'd be so great. But he even talked about letting people default on student loans or figuring
They have
something
to.
out.
They have to. Well, I mean, it's hard to go back and tell people that you took a loan out, and the banks decide that they give the loan. It was an agreeable operation. They shook hands on it, so it's hard to tell somebody you can go back on this agreement. But in the future,
Yeah.
why not why not make it so that they can be defaulted on? Now you're going to have a lot of people, less people taking out loans.
Yeah.
You'll have the same amount of people trying to get loans, but you'll have a lot of people, less people getting loans.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then the colleges will be forced to make you pay out. People who can pay out of pocket.
Yeah, they'd have to make college more
So
affordable.
otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, because the weird thing about college is, right, so when you're 18 years old, you can get that loan, but you have to fill out a FAFSA form, which is like a federal financial application that you have to submit it. But you're able to take this money out as like a kid, but they won't, with that form, they take your parents' income into account. So you can't get federal funding because of your parents' money, so you're forced to then borrow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's
Yeah,
so
I don't
weird.
know anything about. I know. That's my idea on college as far as I go. I don't know what you're talking about there. Or
Yeah, that's
I,
fine.
yeah, if you just allow people to default on those loans, college will be cheaper.
I would love it. I would love to default
Yeah, right.
them.
Yep, you're out of luck.
Yeah, man, I'm out of luck. I'm out of luck. But yeah, I saw that. I just listened to that Joe Rogan the other day, and I've been kind of thinking about that universal basic income idea, and I was just wondering what your thoughts were.
Yeah,
Because,
I don't know. I'm not against it or for it because I don't know.
yeah,
I'd like to. Sounds great.
yeah. Well, the least amount of government we can have, the better, though, right?
Absolutely, man. I don't want them telling me what I can and can't do on anything.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody to
yeah, ditto.
if I don't have to.
Yeah, it really like burns my ass whenever people get in trouble for like collecting rainwater
Right.
or
It's
trying
like,
to go off the grid or something. Like, I don't understand.
yeah.
Makes no
I don't.
sense.
You have to pay the electric bill. You can't just have, um, you know, solar panels on your roof and just.
Yeah.
You have to pay You have to be hooked up to the electric and pay them.
Right. Yeah, and when you do get solar panels, they then have to come out and approve those. And
Yeah.
and then you're still waiting. It's just
I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I know some regulation is good.
yeah,
Regulation is good for some things.
right.
And the whole thing with the global, like the climate change and stuff like that, regulations. You know, I don't know. Me and you don't really know. We don't. We can read what some scientists said. We
Yeah.
don't know. We don't know. But I do know one thing: the United States is cleaner than it used to be, and that's a good thing. Everything's cleaner. Like when I was in grade school, driving to the city, you could see smog over the city.
Yeah.
Now you don't see that. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But there's a limit to how much you're going to ruin the economy if you just this new Green Deal. Are you kidding me? It won't work.
I don't
You
know
know,
anything about it. I have to look it up.
You- it's a nightmare. You don't want to know.
I live under a rock, man. There's
Yeah,
only a few things that I know about.
that's a strange place to be under a rock when you're doing podcasts.
I
But
know. That's why I'm trying to
you got
learn
to be
more.
informed.
I know. I'm
You know,
trying. I'm trying.
yeah.
Um,
It just that I don't know why people aren't. I understand some people think that the world's going to end in 10 years or whatever, and so I'd be panicked too. But if it's going to end in 10 years, it's going to end in 10 years no matter what we do now. So we might as well just go ahead and get dirtier. But I don't believe it's going to end in 10 years. I think that some regulations to keep things clean is good,
Yeah.
but you can go overboard, and the EPA, they'll tell people they'll tell farmers they can't, you know, drink unpasteurized milk and sell it, or I don't know. They just have the craziest ideas sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone's putting some toxic stuff in the creeks, then we gotta take care of that,
Right.
and so there's a line, there's got to be a fine line, like the government intrusion, we need it,
Yeah.
but only,
To a certain degree.
yeah. And if we go to like the Democrats now are socialists, they can say that's a socialist party of the United States, which to me is the same as communism, no difference. If we go down that path, like, we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Everybody's future's done, and I guarantee we'll have a dictator. There's never been a socialist government that didn't have a dictator, and who would ever, let's say the first dictator is Bernie Sanders, and he's a good man. Let's say he's a good man. I don't know if he is or not. Let's say he's a good man. Who's the next one going to be? He's not going to be a good man, because people that go for power like that, they're not good people. Or I could say good woman. He's not going to be a good, non-binary. They're not going to be good, and it's not going to be good for your kids. It's not going to be good for my kids. The least, George Washington, he's like, they wanted to make him king. He's so smart. No, that's what we had in England.
Yeah.
We need John Adams to be the next president. That's what we need, and then we need him to be able to fight it out with Thomas Jefferson for the one after that.
Yeah.
And if we have a socialist, there's no different. Nobody. Democratic socialism, communism. That you might as well they're all and fascism, all four of them the same exact thing.
I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that I would like to see some sort of change. Like, because I feel like we've just been doing the same thing, like, over and over. It's this whole two-party system.
Okay, but you want change, but, like, is there a better place to live than right here, right now?
I think
No.
America's great.
It's the best country. You can't look where people go to. Are Americans going to Mexico, or is Mexicans going to America? Are
Kind of both. Some people do go to Mexico.
buddy, believe yeah, okay. Rich people go there because they can go live there and
Yeah.
be winter birds or
Jesse
whatever.
Ventura moved down there.
Right. But look where people go, and then you'll know who's got the best system.
Yeah.
Where do people go? Where do people from the Middle East go? Where do they go? They're going to Europe.
When you talk to people who've traveled a lot, yeah, I mean, America's definitely a good place to be, right?
No, it's the best place to be. I don't care what you could. Nobody can argue with me that it's not. It's the best place to be. You are not going other places to live unless you have money already, or you don't go somewhere poor to go live somewhere else. Usually,
Yeah.
if you go, some people that are poor come here.
Yeah. We definitely take things for granted, right? Because there are definitely certain parts of the world where you can't say what you want to say, right? You can't.
Look, we're talking politics. I guess we'll talk politics. But Trump, people hate Trump. He's a homophobe. Blah blah blah. All this stuff. He's got a commission right now, trying to make it easier for homosexuals in other countries. Like, there's a commission right now that is trying to make it so, like, you don't get murdered in Iran if you're gay. He has gay people on the commission that run it, and I don't know the guy's name or anything, but all this stuff. He's a homophobe. He's a racist. It's all people trying. It's a left trying to keep power, and people want to be so. I really have no. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, and it's like.
I think the left and the right, when you get to the extremes, they're almost the exact same.
But how many people are on the extreme and the right? What would you even consider on the extreme and right? What would the views of an extreme right person be?
And I'm not gonna. I don't want to, like, speak on that what I don't know, but the word that comes to mind would be like Antifa, right? Would that be the extreme right?
Left.
Is that the left? I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, there are extremes on both sides.
Right. So I would say an extreme on the right would be like KKK.
Sure.
Or I don't know, those groups. I don't know any.
Either way, the extremes on both sides are the exact same. They're just saying different things.
At this point in time in this country, there's way more people on the extreme left. Like there's Antifa is on the extreme left. All right, they want socialism or whatever they want. There's way more people. They're actually, not in St. Louis so much, but I think like in Portland and I don't know.
I don't know either.
They're both dangerous. You're right, but I just don't know anybody. I don't know anybody in the KKK. I know I heard your podcast before.
They're definitely here.
There was a guy that had like a KKK thing on his.
Yeah, like growing up in Potosi, there's a guy with the truck.
And those are with the S10, right?
Yeah.
You knew one guy. You saw one guy. I'm being white. I know one guy that I can think of that I think was in a. Well, he had a swastika tattoo. So
I mean, there are definitely plenty of people who hold those beliefs, whether or not they're in that club or not, for sure.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm not around them, man. Look at St. Charles and May, so we can get off of
100%.
What's so great is St. Charles and May. There's no place that's more diverse with more people from different, than St. Charles and May. Even like I have arguments about politics with guys, but they come back the next day. They don't feel unwelcome.
Yeah.
I'm conservative, libertarian type guy.
Yeah. The idea that just because you don't agree with somebody doesn't mean we all can't be friends.
Right. But we have we have every country, white people, black people, people from Mexico, freaking Asians. I mean, there's probably everybody. 40 countries. I mean, there's no more diverse place in the whole country probably than our gym.
Dude, yeah, we have people from all over the world.
Rich people, poor people at our gym.
Yeah, man.
And we all pretty much get along. It's hard. It's sometimes,
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard. But most of the time, everybody gets pretty much gets along. And
yeah, I think everybody. So like when we're like at the human level, like everybody's good. It's going back to the government. The government themselves. It's like they go do these debates. It's like blue versus red, and it's like really after that debate's over, they're all fucking in the backstage.
Right, and
it's like wrestling. It's like pro wrestling.
What bugs me about it is that they can't be like, okay, well, let's not talk about this, and this. We're going to talk because we agree on it, but they can't agree on anything. Like, can we at least agree like on a few things?
Yeah,
because there's got to be something.
Right.
There's some things that are Democrats like I'm for. I mean, I can't. I would say, oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's team. Those are two teams, and we're on two teams. Everybody's on a team.
Right, and that's what gets me. It's like why do we have to have these teams? Like that's why I say like, is there not something that we can maybe do different to where there's some common fucking ground?
I don't think it used to be so much, but I think some of it's gone is that we're all. I don't know, man. It's. I don't want to get down that. I don't want to talk about.
Can't we all just get along, Mike?
It does. It hurts me even. I like, man, why can't they think like me? I wish they would just think like me, then we'd all get along, but they don't. And I can't make them not, and it's like, boy, I don't have all the answers, but, I'm always looking for somebody to tell me I'm wrong, and I'll listen to them.
It's nice to at least talk it out. But, well, Mike, we've been going for quite some time now, my friend.
Yeah, we didn't even hit all the subjects we want to talk about.
I don't know, man. There's so much we could keep talking about. But let's wrap this up. I'm going to leave – I always do this. I always leave the floor to whoever I'm sitting with. If there's anything that you would like to plug, tell people about the gym, if you would like to give out your socials so people get a hold of you or anything like that.
So if my family's listening, which they probably are, my wife, I love you guys, and my mom. That's it. I love my family and the rest of you people at St. Charles and May. I love you guys too. And if I was supposed to talk about you and I didn't, and I hurt your feelings, I hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
There's too many people over the years. There's too many people, and so I'll do it for you then. St. Charles MMA. We are at is it 100 Share? I don't know the.
We're in the state parking lot of Stadium 18 Cinema in St. Charles.
I'll put it in the notes, but you guys can come check us out. You can come train with us. You'll have a good time.
If you want to come, you'll find it.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Until next time.